go. Welcome to the Mizzle Dub Show, where they know sports. If you wanna know about sports, this is where you go.
First down, touchdown, first down, touchdown, yeah. 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 Touchdown, yeah. Touchdown, yeah. Touchdown, yeah.
Well, we weren't necessarily expecting to do a late night show tonight, but you know what? Why not? So here we are, number 119. Damn.
Wow.
119 already?
Kicking
Sheesh.
ass, man. And
Welcome
check this out, though. We haven't done a recorded show in over a month, so everything that we have done has been live.
This is true. Yes. We are live at 1:47 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Sunday, the 22nd of October. And, well, two teams are one win away from the pennant. In one series, it seems like the home team does not want to win any games at all. And then in one series, a road team finally won because the home team won every game. But nonetheless, Friday night, the Rangers seemingly were on the grasp of possibly winning Game 5, and then the one man that Bruce Bochy did not want up at the plate was the man Dusty Baker want up at the plate. All 5'5" of him. It just seems like Jose Altuve just seems to live for that moment as he delivers yet again with a 3-run homer in the ninth to give the Astros a 5-4 win, and the Astros stand 27 outs away from going to their third straight World Series and their fourth in the last 5 seasons. And I know some people will never let 2017 go. I get it. But as I've said many times on this show, you can bang a trash can. Okay. I have played baseball. Never to the major league level. But I've played the game. Okay. I can know exactly what pitch is coming. I can know where he's going to throw it. I can know what kind of an arm release he's going to do it at. It does not matter if I know all those things. I still have to barrel the damn bat to the ball. Okay? It would be one thing if the 2017 Houston Astros was hitting home runs on every single pitch. That was not the case.
Yes.
Even if they knew the pitch, they were still striking out a lot. Okay? There have been a lot of teams in baseball, a lot of players that who hasn't tried to gain an upper edge in sports? Who hasn't?
Well,
okay,
that's why we went to the steroid era.
Some get caught, some are more tedious with it. But the fact of the matter is, and I know some people will never give the Astros their due. I get it. I understand it. That is your opinion, and that is your right as a fan. This is why we're fans. This is why we cheer. Hell, this is why me and Mizzle do a sports show to talk about stuff like this. But however, one thing that can't not be denied is the fact that the Houston Astros are a very damn good baseball team, and they keep being here year after year after year. They're starting for some, they're starting to become annoying, like Joe Torre's Yankees in the mid to late 90s through the 2000s, where they were in the playoffs every single freaking year, and it seemed like every other year they were in the World Series. The Astros are becoming like that. Okay, and that's kudos to Dusty Baker and what he's done. I mean, Ryan Presley, the Astros closer, comes in. Rangers have first and second, nobody out in the bottom of the 8th. The Rangers having a chance to possibly put the game on ice. Presley gets out of it and saves it again in the 9th. And I mean, to quote your late godbrother, Mr. James, they're battle tested. The Houston Astros are battle tested and have been for a long time. Now, with that said, Facts are facts. But even with all that, I am not counting out Bruce Bochy to force a Game 7. Any other manager, I would say the series is over. But you have a three-time World Series. Yeah, you have a three-time World Series champion that has been there before. Okay, he could easily go back to 2012, where he was down 2-0 to the Reds, came back and won 3 straight, down 3-1 Cardinals, came, and we know what happened, and then they sweep the Tigers in the World Series in 2012. So again, any other manager, I'd say Astros got you, but as long as that big ass dome head is there managing in Arlington, Texas, they have a shot. Now, with that said, the Astros have 2 chances to win 1 game at home, which they have not won at home in this series. So we will see if a home team will finally win a game in the series, or something has to, or will it be like 2019, like in the World Series when no home team won a game? It was the whole road team, which had never happened. Now flip to the other side of the National League. It seemed like the Phillies were having their way with the Diamondbacks. Then the Diamondbacks come home. Game 3 was tremendous. As a fan that did have done race, Game 3 was a fantastic game. Ketel Marte walks off Craig Kimbrell. Diamondbacks get the win. Then Alek Thomas has the at-bat of his life, taking Kimbrell deep to tie the game in the 8th, and the Diamondbacks rally to win at 6-5. But tonight, or should I say last night, the Phillies bats came to life. Schwarber, Harper, Realmuto all left the building, and the Phillies stand 27 outs away from going back to the World Series for a second straight year. Now, with this said, it's all on Merrill Kelly for the Diamondbacks to force Game 7. But one thing we have noticed in this series is when Philadelphia scores first, they normally win the game, with the exception of Game 4. Or, I'm sorry, yes, with the exception of Game 4. But no, they didn't score first Game 4. The Diamondbacks did. Never mind. That's it. So, in the 3 wins, the Phillies have scored first. They normally win the game. So, they're going back home to Philadelphia on Monday. And you know that crowd is going to be riled up as only Philadelphia can get riled up, because they want to try to end it and clinch it in front of the home fans yet again for the second straight year.
Oh, yeah.
So, Astros up 3-2, Phillies up 3-2. So we will see what happens in this league championship series, as if it goes to a Game 7 for the National League, it'll be Tuesday. And if there's a Game 7, it'll be on Monday for the American League. So there you have it. So I think the World Series doesn't start until the 27th, if I'm not mistaken, which is a Friday. But we do like to be actually factual on the show, so let me actually give you the actual date of when Game 1 of the World Series will start, per se.
So it's on Friday? That's
with the whole wildcard thing. So, yeah. They haven't started on the weekend in a long, long time, which used to be the norm back when you and I were kids. It would always be Game 1 would always be on a Saturday and a Sunday, and they would let Monday Night Football have the stage on Monday night, and then go from there. So Game 3 will be up against Monday Night Football. Interesting to see what that matchup will be. What game that will be on Monday night. Let's see. Actually, let's take a look and see what game they'll be going up head-to-head against on Monday Night Football on 30th.
Is it the Vikings and Niners? Oh, no. That's this weekend.
No. It's your Raiders against the Lions.
That's right. In Detroit.
In Detroit, in the Motor City. And greetings to our two live night owls that are up with us. We appreciate it. Welcome.
Yes.
Feel free to interact. So
you
before we
respond.
2 things. two things. Number one, it is always an honor when you get a key to your hometown, but when you get a street named after you,
Yes.
it's one of the greatest honors you can have. Of course, my fellow Vallejoan, and of course, to get to his house where he grew up at, and to get to my grandparents' house, you have to take that Magazine Street exit. Of course, Uncle Earl, the ambassador, E40 gets his home area street named after him. That happened yesterday. So congratulations to the ambassador. Well earned, well deserved. And all those good sorts of things, which is always awesome. So kudos to E40. And shout out to the Nevada Wolfpack, who ended a year-long streak of not winning a game, as they finally got their first win of the season. But here's the kicker, folks, which is unique in its own way. They go to San Diego, they beat the San Diego State Aztecs, but the final score, I kid you not, was 6-0. The Wolfpack kicked 2 field goals to get their first win of the season and their first win in nearly a year. For lack of a better term, yes. If you want to go to the team stats in this game, the Aztecs were 0 for 10 on third down conversions. So, needless to say, you're not going to win if you go over 10. But hey, it is what it is. So,
W's a W.
W's a W. Absolutely. So, kudos to them. And just, yeah. But something did happen. At first, it was it seemed like there was possible upsets going on, but when it came to it, they still found a way. And the number 4 team in the country is still unbeaten, as the Florida State Seminoles pulled away in the second half and actually held the Blue Devils scoreless in the second half and put down the clamps as the Seminoles go to 7-0 on the season, beating the Duke Blue Devils by a final score of 38-20. It seems like, and it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what game this is, but it just seems like with this particular team, it seems like a big special teams play always seems to happen, and it seems to get the Seminoles in gear. Don't know why that. Don't know why that is.
I can't tell you either.
Nonetheless, but again, as we've said so many times, special teams can do so much for a crowd, for a team, for a sideline. Just for anybody. And in this case, with the Seminoles, because, I mean, Duke, and give them credit in the first half, they were ready to play, and it showed. But then they kicked the ball to a guy with the first name of Deuce. And normally when you have a name like Deuce, that normally means you can have some shifty moves, and Deuce fan took a kick return 99 yards to the house, and again, that sparked the Seminoles on the comeback trail as they shut out the Blue Devils in the second half, 21-0. Jordan Travis struggled, but then he got it in gear, finished 27-36 for 268 and 2 TDs, 1 pick. He was also the leading rusher. Wilson was the leading receiver, 5 catches for 58 yards. But it was the defense that really clamped down, as Leonard was only 7-16 for 69 yards, threw a pick, and Henry Bellman was 1 of 6 for 7 yards. Even though Jaquez Moore ran for $110, there was no offense to speak of in the second half, as Again, Florida State gets the win 38-20 as they improve their record, as I said, to 7-0.
Yeah, they've always
Go ahead.
what I've noticed watching them paying attention, they are a better second half team. It seems like whatever happens in the first half, they make some kind of adjustment or special teams play, as you say, happens. Excuse me. But they've been playing lights out football this whole year in the second half, either just holding teams to 7 points, 3 points here, 10 points there. That defense has been playing outstanding. And I was hard on Norvell taking over at the reins, but he shut me up last year, and they're riding that train from last year. And I got high expectations. If we don't be in the top 4 and get into the playoff, that's a disappointment. I don't want nothing but that. I mean, I know we're bowl eligible, but we still got Miami to play, which would be a tough, but we should be able to run the table the rest of the way. And I can see some shakeup happening in the top 5. But if we just play out, we can do something. I got high expectations for the Nose this year.
Speaking of bowl eligible, first off, shout out to the UNLV Rebels for being bowl eligible for the first time in 10 years.
Yes.
But doing it early as possible. They are 6-1 on the season. They kicked the last second field goal to beat Colorado State 25-22. Coach Odom, who came from Arkansas, has done a fantastic job his first year in the program. And I'll tell you what, now that's one thing crossed off. But now the Rebels, along with Air Force, right now are the 2 unbeatens in the conference. But right now, next Saturday night, you got 6-1 Fresno State, 6-1 UNLV going at it in Fresno. That's going to be a dandy of a football game, and it's going to be a real big test for UNLV because Fresno State and Jeff Tefford, they have been there before. They know what it's all about, so they've been there. Fresno's had the bright lights on the biggest stage in prime time, whatever you want to call it. So this is UNLV's true test to really show that, hey, they are really going to compete for a championship because right now Air Force is ranked 22nd in the country, and their defense is very, very stout. Yeah. The Rebels have won 5 straight. Fresno suffered their first loss, and I'm just like, well, you know what? Why not? So kudos to Coach Odom. Kudos to the Rebels. They're playing they're playing some good football. That's all I can tell you, and just wanted to give them a quick shout out. So to go around and round out the rest of the top 25, Michigan handles business. They just completely thrash Sparty in East Lansing, Michigan.
Did Sparty score?
I think they even pitched a shutout, if I'm not mistaken. I
think it was like 48-0.
Well, that's what I'm trying to see here. I don't think they did.
Yeah, I think it was 48-0. If I'm not mistaken.
The scores. It was a shot. 49. You're off. You were off by 1 point, but 49-0.
Okay.
Michigan handles business. Going down the way. It was a dogfight at first, but in the end, Penn State eventually pulls away. They beat Penn State 20-12.
What a great battle!
As Penn State. Well, speaking of battles, the UFC
Oklahoma was a good one too.
The Knights gave everything to Oklahoma. And it was a failed 2-point conversion that held the Knights just short. But OU gets the win. They go to 7-0, and with the I'm pretty sure they will go up in the top 25. But they beat UCF 31-29. Air Force beats Navy in a tough game 17-6. Oregon,
typical military game.
It was back and forth between them and the Cougars.
Game.
Yeah. Oregon had a dogfight in the first half with Washington State, but pulls away. They get by 14, 38-24. It was a tale of two halves in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. In the first half, Tennessee was having their way with Alabama leading 20-7, and then something awoken the damn tide, and they came out thrashing, outscoring Tennessee, shutting them out in the second half, 27-0. As Bama
He must
gets
have
a
broke
huge
clipboard.
win. Surprisingly, Alabama's Saban must have did something because, like I said, in the first half, Tennessee and Josh Heupel, they were having their
Killing
way
it.
over
Yeah,
Saban.
killing it.
Tough loss for Tennessee. They go to 5-2. Alabama, surprisingly, with all their struggles, are still 7-1, which is quite shocking. Mizzou beats South Carolina 30-12. Tulane ranked 23rd. The Green Wave just get by the Mean Green 35-20 over North Texas. An upset. Minnesota upsets number 24 Iowa 12-10.
Yes.
Texas fought off the Cougars. They survived 31-24. And a huge upset in the top 10. The Virginia Cavaliers go to Chapel Hill
Can play football.
and upset the 10th ranked Tar Heels 31-27. Ole Miss gets by Auburn 28-21. And Army just went to Baton Rouge to collect the paycheck 62-0 as LSU thrashes Army. And Arizona State played their hearts out in Seattle, but at the end,
yes, they did.
The Washington Huskies remain number 5 and get the win without scoring an offensive touchdown for the first time since 2001. They win it 15-7.
Oh.
And those Utah Utes, for whatever reason, whenever the Southern California Trojans just happen to see that team with the U on their helmet in red and white,
Don't look right.
I don't know what it is, but Kyle Whittingham just finds a way to just frustrate USC. And you saw Caleb Williams on the sideline. It's the one team he has not figured out since transferring to Southern California. It's the one team Lincoln Riley hasn't figured out. But then again, even when Pete Carroll was there, he couldn't figure out the Utes.
Yep.
Utah goes to 6-1. USC goes to 6-2. I'm pretty sure that'll put USC out of the top 25 or barely
if
on
not
the
25,
cusp.
maybe.
But I mean, Bryson Barnes Bryson Barnes, when he needed it, he came through, got the run, and Cole Becker hits the field goal 38 yards, and the Utes get the win 34-32. They ran the ball well. It was a back-and-forth game. USC was up by 11, 28-17, or Utah was up 28-17, but kudos to USC for coming back, even taking the lead late. A lot of offense in this game, but at the end of the day, again, the Utah Utes just seemingly find a way to get the win. And even just confirmed before the season, Kyle Whittingham that said that Cam Rising, their star quarterback from a season ago, will not play this season. So I don't know if that's going to be another year eligibility for them, but it possibly could be. And UCLA goes to the Farm in Palo Alto and thrashes Stanford 42-7. So West Virginia and Oklahoma State, there was no defense to speak of whatsoever. Oklahoma State beats West Virginia 48-34. Baylor and Cincinnati was a fantastic game. Baylor gets the win by 3, 32-29. BYU beats Texas Tech 27-14, and Kansas State romps TCU 41-3. And the rest of the Pac-12, we already went through that. Let's go to the rest of the Big Ten. Rutgers beats Indiana 31-14. Wisconsin beats Indiana by 4, 25-21. Nebraska beats Northwestern 17-9. And let's go to the All-American. Well, let's go to the rest of the SEC. Mississippi beats Arkansas 7-3. Yeah, that was the final score, 7-3.
It's a lot of low-scoring games this week.
SEC.
Blowouts, but a lot of low-scoring games this week.
Some defensive battles in Conference USA scores there. Middle Tennessee State and Liberty, no defense in that game. Liberty wins 42-35. Jayville State beats Western Kentucky 2017 back on Wednesday. FIU and Sam Houston went to 2 overtimes, but it was FIU with a win 33-27 over Sam Houston. New Mexico State beats UTEP 28-7. And in the rest of the Big Ten, we already covered that. So let's go to the rest of the Mountain West. Utah State and San Jose State. San Jose State Sparty puts up a 40 burger on the and beats them 42-21. New Mexico beats Hawaii by that same score, 42-21. Now, where is there we go, the All-American Conference. So on Thursday, Rice beats Tulsa 42-10. SMU shuts out Temple by putting up a 50 burger, 55-0. Memphis beats UAB 45-21. Charlotte beats East Carolina 10-7. South Florida beats UConn 24-21, and Texas San Antonio beats FAU 36-10. And I think that is everything. Well, we'll round out the rest of the ACC. Wake Forest beats Pitt 21-17. Boston College beats Georgia Tech 38-23. And the team that Mizzle dislikes oh so much, 28-20 in overtime, 2 overtimes, Miami beats Clemson. So that turns to next week of college football in the top 25. And well, my team has had a week off, and now it's time for the world's largest cocktail party as my beloved Bulldogs and the Florida Gators renew acquaintances once again in Jacksonville, Florida, in Duval. But but one thing is for certain, they need to come in focus. But I mean, one thing that is definitely going to hurt, not having Brock Bowers, the all-world tight end who's out 3 to 4 weeks who had surgery, that's going to put a lot of pressure on Beck. But more so, that's going to even deemed more to have Mr. Edwards, Mr. DeJuan Edwards to run the ball. The senior needs to be as big as he is. He's averaging he's almost averaging 6 yards a carry this year. He's going to have to shorten the low because again, you can't replace a guy like Brock. You can't replace a guy like Brock Bowers. He is irreplaceable. So other pass catchers are just going to have to step up for the Bulldogs, but you can't let Mertz get going because Mertz can thread you if he gets going. You got to contain Johnson in the run game and Purcell in the pass game. I mean, Georgia should win, but it's a rivalry game.
Yeah,
and they've been doing this for a long time, and anything can possibly happen. So Georgia has to come in focused to get this win. And a possible trap game early morning for your Seminoles as they play the Wake Forest Demon Deacons in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So, yeah, there's that side. So, if you're the Seminoles, how do you not fall for the trap against the Demon Deacons? How do you not fall for the trap?
Well, first of all, bring your defense. Don't leave it in Tallahassee. You're definitely gonna have to bring the defense. Well, establish the run game, a good run game, silence the crowd, and then you can establish the passing game. I mean, that's probably in any football game, but with that, just don't walk into that stadium thinking that you're just gonna walk out with a W. Think every game is you're playing like you're gonna lose or something. I don't have the losing mentality, but play like you know that you're playing a tough team. Don't overlook them. Step off the bus with your defense. Just focus, man. Just offense has a click. Protect Jordan Travis because you know they're going to be pumped. There's a bullseye on the back of Florida State right now just because they're in the top 4. So it's almost like trying to beat the champs when everybody was trying to beat the Warriors. You know, I'm not comparing the Florida State to the Warriors, but, you know, when you got that target on your back, teams tend to play a little bit harder, especially when you got a 0 next to your in your loss column. They want to be that team to take that, to accomplish that L, give you that L. So just bring the defense, smart coaching. Don't try to do too much. You know, protect Jordan Travis. And, yeah, special teams too, because that's what gets us going. And continue to make those second half adjustments because they, like I said, from the whole season, they've been playing great football in the second half. So just don't sleep on the Demon Deacons.
Well, true. Because after this game, You travel to Pittsburgh to take on a 2-5 Pitt team, and then of course the week after that, it's the rivalry that is Florida State and the U. However, I definitely think it's going to be interesting to see which special teams play makes an appearance in this game, as it normally does whenever Florida State plays. But I mean, we shall see what goes on. Some other top 25 matchups that are going on, which are very well. You want to talk about intriguing matchups in the top 25? It does not get more intriguing than 6-1 Oregon, 6-1 Utah in Salt Lake City.
Get out of here.
Is going to be a dandy. Yeah, that's going to be a dandy. Fox has that game. Another intriguing matchup is 6-1 Texas taking on 5-2 BYU in Austin. Of course, Texas coming in ranked 8th in the country. Oklahoma playing Kansas. Kansas at 5-2 on the year. Oklahoma at 7-0. Louisville and Duke is another game. How will Tennessee bounce back against Kentucky? That 5-2 against 5-2. That's a very intriguing game. Ohio State goes on the road to Madison to take on the Wisconsin Badgers. Wisconsin coming in at 5-2. Of course, Ohio State at 7-0. Dion brings Colorado to the Rose Bowl to take on the UCLA Bruins. You can catch that on ABC.
That'd be
How
good.
will North Carolina bounce back? They take on Georgia Tech. And Oregon State takes on Arizona. Oregon State coming in ranked number 12th in the country. Notre Dame at home against Pitt. Penn State at home against Indiana. Washington comes to the Forums to take on Stanford. And dadgummit, let's go Bears beat USC.
Always.
And that's
whoever's playing USC. Always.
True. Very true. Very true. Never lied. Never lied. So, as we go back, or as we now go to our what we picked for the week 7. So, here's just a recap what we did for the picks. So, right now, and we both picked the Jags.
Yes.
To win their game. We both picked the Lions. Upset in Baltimore. Mizzle likes the Colts. I like the Browns. We both like the Bills. We both like the Commanders. He took the alma mater. I took the Buccaneers. So there's one difference. Of course, on the show we made a mistake that we were not.
Hold on. Let's go back. Let's go back to that. The alma mater and the Buccaneers.
Yes.
I'm gonna stick with it. Never mind. I got a comfortable lead. I can take that L if possible. I'll stick with it. So
Well,
never mind.
given that your record is what it is, okay, we have decided on the show that, damn it, we're not going against Mike Tomlin. That's just what we do. We like Seattle. We like Green Bay. Of course, he picks the Chiefs because I need to catch up to Mizzle. I'm picking the Bolts, even though it might come back and bite me in the ass. We both like the Raiders in Chicago. We both are picking Santa Clara. And, of course, we decided to use our mulligan. We are not picking the Eagles and Dolphins because we just want to watch as fans. So,
I hope it doesn't disappoint. I hope it really does not disappoint.
Yeah. So Julio Jones decides to go sign with the Eagles. Don't know how that's going to impact the offense. Considering that times the Eagles struggled. Keep in mind, last week they got shut out against the Jets in the second half and came off their first loss. So now we'll see how Nick Sirianni gets this team ready. In the case of the Dolphins, May Chain's not playing, but they still got Raheem Mostert in the backfield. You still got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, which I think Jalen Waddle is returning.
Powerful.
If they decide to use Chase Claypool, they can use him. Well, like I said, I hope Lincoln Financial Field paid their light bill and they put in some new LED stuff for their scoreboard because it might be playing pinball machines, and there might be some tilting going on.
Right.
But now I'm about to ask a question. It seems like the nation, and of course you know what nation I'm talking about because there only is one.
Only one.
It seemed like they went full-fledged in when it was announced that Brian Hoyer was being the starter against the Bears. Now, I really haven't asked you about this all week, but now that we're doing a show, it's the perfect time for you to tell the masses really how you feel. And I know a lot of the nation wanted them to give Aiden O'Connell the start again. Hoyer did come in last week against the Pats.
Patriots.
He did complete 6 of 10 against the Patriots. But what's your feeling on this, and why do you think he decided to go with Hoyer and not give O'Connell another start from your perspective?
Record-wise, we're 3-3 and still in the thick of things. And we're on a 2-game winning streak. Putting in Aiden O'Connell right now, which, don't get me wrong, I would have felt uncomfortable. I mean, not uncomfortable. I'd have felt comfortable with, and I wanted that as well. But I see what's going on. You know, we're in second place right now. We're chasing the Chiefs. With the Chargers losing, I believe the Chargers are 2-3, where we're being 3, with us being 3-3. It's a. I'm not going to say it's a winnable game, but I believe that McDaniels wanted to go with the vet in this situation to win this game because Jimmy G has been announced that he will be playing Monday night against the Lions, so he'll be back for week 8. I just think that, yes, we saw what Aiden O'Connell can do. You know, he went out there, he was slinging the ball, but I believe McDaniels has more faith in Hoyer right now. Not saying he doesn't have as much faith, but I believe he wants to win this game. He wants to call the plays I think he wants to open up the playbook and not simplify the playbook for O'Connell. He wants to go into this game and win this game. And don't be surprised if you see Davante Adams be targeted 10 to 15 times in this game. Don't be surprised.
Now, that was my next question. That was my next question. As you stole my thunder, is how do you get him? Now, here's the thing. Anyone that has watched Davante Adams knows that he is a team guy and wants to win. Doesn't matter how it is. He leads by example. He does all the right things you want him to do. But you can tell in his facial expressions, he's upset he's not getting the ball. Now, most receivers that do that, we instantly call them divas.
Correct.
Davante Adams is far from a diva. He's not.
No.
So, with that said, we know he's not getting the ball touches as he should. Mainly when Garoppolo's in, it's been Jacoby Myers as his security blanket. And I get it. They were teammates in New England, I believe. I get it. I understand it. But however, 17 threads the needle. 17 makes the offense go. 17 opens up the holes for number 8 in the second half. So, how do you get 17 to open up the offense and get him involved to eventually open up for 8 to use the running game late in the game to wear down the Bears? Because the Bears, we know that Justin Fields will be out for 2 to 3 weeks.
Yes.
So, how do you
defense should feast on this today?
Now, with that said, the Raiders did say that even though he's disgruntled for whatever that means, that they say they're not going to trade him. Okay.
Well,
so
that's the media. That's the media just speculating. That's just the media speculating because they need a story. Right now, it's. And to answer your question about how do we get 17 involved, well, you put a quarterback in there that can get the ball downfield. That's Davante Adams' bread and butter. Slant routes and down the field. Garoppolo can't do that. Yes, he did that when we played the Steelers, but That ball was underthrown, and thank goodness that Devontae Adams has the eyes and the hands of Jerry Rice to make that catch, because clearly Devontae Adams was open in double coverage, and he had to reach back to make that catch. Yes, yeah. So let's get a quarterback in there that can deliver him the ball. I mean, the reason why Jacoby Myers is getting those passes is because Devontae Adams is taking on two people, and Jacoby Myers is on one person, winning, which is what you're supposed to do if they're doubling your best player. Somebody else has to win their route. But Devontae is beating that double coverage, man. And you can go back and look at that film on that touchdown against the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. He beat double coverage, and he was open. And I don't want to say this. I'll say Derek Carr needed to move on, but Derek Carr could deliver that ball when Devontae Adams beat the double team. You clearly saw that in Tennessee. You clearly saw that in Kansas City. You clearly saw that. I can't remember one game. The Chiefs. You clearly. So you need the quarterback to deliver. So Brian Hoyer, like I said, I'm going to say it again. You will see Devontae Adams targeted 10 to 15 times. You will see some over-the-top plays, which is going to open up the lanes for JJ, because they'll be like, okay, with Jimmy Garoppolo, they're daring Jimmy to beat a teams with his arm, which he does not have. And they know we're going to run the ball to try to set up the passing game. So now
they're begging him to throw the ball.
Yeah. So what you saw with Hoyer against the Patriots, he dropped that ball over the top to the rook, and guess what happened after that? JJ started running the ball and had lanes. I don't blame the offensive line when we don't have a quarterback that can deliver, that threatens a defense. Jimmy don't threaten nobody. You stop the slant routes, you put 8 in the box, you beat the Raiders. Like I said, I've said this on the previous show, and I said this on Facebook. The Raiders don't have the defense for Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, don't get me, I'm not taking a shot at my defense, because they're playing very good football right now. Lights out since the Charger game. But the offense is not putting up points like the Niners offense put up points. But when the Niners wasn't putting up points, the defense was putting up the points. My defense is just now starting to make stops and get turnovers. We're building. So that was their biggest mistake with signing Jimmy Garoppolo. So if Hoyer goes out there and runs this offense just as better when O'Connell was out there, because once he got in a rhythm and was threatening the ball downfield, JJ was getting loose, i.e. what happened with Brian Hoyer against the Patriots, as I repeat myself. So I understand the Hoyer start. We're trying to win and get one game behind the Chiefs, and I picked the Chiefs to win, but, I do hope they lose. So that puts us one game out of first place, and, we keep a game up above on the Chargers. See, this is about winning games now. This is not about trying to elevate your rookie. This is not a wash year for the Raiders. They're in win mode now. So now I understand if we were like 1-4, 2 and whatever. Yeah, start the rookie again. But no, we're in the thick of things. We're in the playoff chase right now. I know it's still early in the season, but these games matter right now. This is what sets you up to get into December, the end of November, December. So I understand the Hoyer start. Devontae Adams will be fed. JJ will get running lanes. And I continue to say this every week, but the rookie is getting there. Tyree Wilson will fucking get a sack today. He will get a sack today. The defense will feast. Now, we still got to stop DJ Moore, though. They still got an excellent wide receiver on the other side of the field. It won't be easy. There's no Nate Hobbs out there. Yeah. So I'm not saying this is going to be an easy game any given Sunday.
And you also have to worry about Kmet at tight end. He's also been playing fantastically well.
That's going to be on Spillane. That's going to fall on Spillane and Diablo. So you got to pay attention to him and Morick. And they got to tackle. They got to tackle. Yeah. If you get in the backfield, make the tackle and be smart football. Play smart football. You know, these referees are now trying to throw the flags on real quick if you do anything out of pocket. If you pick up the offensive player, slam him on the ground, no more of that. Just get him to the ground or just bear hug him. But and feed the rookie. Continue to feed the rookies. Establish the tight end a little bit more. Again, just like you did last week. Michael Mayer is a beast. And he showed you that's the same thing he was doing in Notre Dame. Catching the ball, bouncing off tackles, getting the extra yardage, and you know what I'm saying? Just out there playing football. So feed off that. We're starting to – it's a rhythm starting to go.
Sure. The talent is there.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. So just continue to feed off what you did last week. And like they say,
so
every week, stack W's.
Well, speaking of W's, the Jaguars get a W this past Thursday in New Orleans, even though they almost gave it away because for the first
Foster Moreau,
first few minutes or for most of that game, the Jag. You root for him because
kudos to his teammates.
You overcame
kudos to his teammates, man.
Cancer. Yes. His teammates picked him up because you saw him on the sideline and as dejected as he could possibly be, and his teammates came over there to console him and be like, you know what, shake it off. And that's why they say football is community, football is a brotherhood, football is a fraternity. It really is because you will. That is wide open in the NFL, and Carr put it as perfectly placed as you can put it. And unfortunately, as our dad says, hit him the wrong spot. Unfortunately.
Yep. Yeah.
And you feel bad for him. You do. It
sick.
Instantly reminds me of Jackie Smith.
That is not sick.
It reminds me of Jackie Smith. Yeah. It reminds me of Jackie Smith in Super Bowl 13. And Vern Lundquist, one of the greatest sound bites you will ever hear when he said, God bless him, he's got to be the sickest man in America. One of the greatest sound bites you'll ever hear on NFL films was that. It took me back to it took me instantly back to that because it's just like he was open. You're thinking he's open.
Overtime.
We're going overtime. Because,
or at least they're going to go for the two to try to win it.
Field, that's what you were thinking.
Yeah.
Or even that. Which Carr has done that before in that building as a Raider back in 2016 in one of the classic shootouts in that same stadium. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say this: Alvin Kamara is starting to get his legs back because he looked like himself.
Baby.
Because he was all over the place in that game. Ran for 62 yards, caught 12 for 91 yards. Even though the Saints struggled on third downs, they were 3 for 18 on third downs. The Jaguars were not so bright either. They were 4 for 11 on third downs. But there was the question, was Sunshine going to play? Because there was thoughts of where they thought he was going to play. Well, Sunshine played well, was also the leading rusher in the game. But it just seems like Travis Etienne always seems to find the end zone, as he found the end zone twice again.
Don't I know about Travis Etienne?
But Christian Kirk.
What a catch and run.
Yes, the Clemson Tiger. Yes, indeed. But Christian Kirk basically took the Honey Badger to school with a little dip move and took it the rest of the way, which led to the eventual game-winning touchdown, or that was the eventual game-winning touchdown as the Jags beat the Saints 31-24. So the Jaguars go to 5-2. Saints go to 3-4, and the Jaguars maintain their spot in first place in the AFC South.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
Just very, very intriguing matchups. We talked about the Lions and Ravens. That's just that's just going to be a dandy of a football game.
I will definitely have that on. That's going to be a 10 o'clock start, correct?
Yeah, I think
The
it's
Lions
going
and
to
the
be. I think that's going to be one of the national Fox games, which is rare to say about the Lions. But I mean, hey, when you're
Well,
when you're
the
5 and
Raiders
1
are
like
at
the
10
Lions
o'clock in the
are,
morning.
you've earned that distinction.
Well, so that means they
Correct.
ain't go. Well, in my market, I'll get the Raiders, but I'm gonna have to put that game on the little TV. I was gonna do
the Lions
the
are in.
red
It's going to be
zone, but I'm gonna have
interesting
to
to
put
see.
that game on TV. Yeah.
No, that's a very intriguing game to watch. Just like Sunday night is between the Dolphins and the Eagles. Now, unfortunately, for my beloved team, as they are preparing to play the Vikings on Monday night, unfortunately, they will not have Deebo Samuel, hairline fracture, which I really want to say, and I'm not that person, but I really think that fight before the game against the Browns assisted in him getting hurt.
Ooh.
Which is why memes always say, don't be getting involved trying to fight the other team when they're on the sidelines. Stay your ass on your side of the field.
Stand on your lane.
To where stuff like this would happen. Then Trent Williams.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just stay in your lane. Stay in your lane and respect the ref. Now, anyhow, in Trent Williams' case, he was injured. And kudos to him for being a trooper, because he said the reason why he didn't come out is because he didn't want Jalen Moore to have to guard Myles Garrett. And that's a veteran looking out for his teammate, because, most guys wouldn't do that. They'd be like, you know what? I'm making a business decision. But kudos to Trent Williams for doing that.
Yep.
With that said, It should be enough to beat the Vikings.
Should.
However, I still will not rush Christian McCaffrey to play in this game, because you're going to need him.
You've been preaching that, brother. You've been preaching that.
Which, again, well, I mean, but again, this is how he got hurt in Carolina, because overused. Again, you have Jordan Mason, which I've asked almost to the point where I've begged Shanahan to use him. You still have Elijah Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
You still have Ty Davis Price. Again, like I said,
you
don't know that you have an oblique until you injure it. And then the only remedy is to get rest, because there really is no timetable when that will heal. Which is why I say, if you are Kyle Shanahan, you got 3 capable running backs. I mean, heck, Mason and Elijah Mitchell can start on a lot of other teams that need running backs. I'm just saying.
100%. 100%.
Like I said, Mason has that home run type speed and closes out games. In the fourth. Same with Elijah Mitchell. You have to utilize you're there. And I mean, yes, it sucks not having Sammy, but hello, Ronnie Bell, come on down. Get to see more of you.
Oh, buddy.
You get to show off your skills.
Yeah.
So, I mean, So yes, Ronnie Bell is not Deebo Samuel. Let's not get it twisted. But Ronnie Bell can do some things, and he has showed you he can do some things on the football field. And plus, it's Kirk Cousins in prime time. Need I say more? I don't need to say anything more. It's Kirk Cousins.
No, not at all.
Prime time. That's it.
No, not at all. He doesn't perform.
However, now let me ask you this.
Yes.
Do you really possibly think that an era is coming, that an era can possibly come to an end in Foxborough at the end of the season? Do you really think Robert Kraft has the balls, Mr. Gasson? Does he have the balls to fire the hoodie?
Well, let's be honest. Every good thing has to come to an end, right? Certain things have run
to this question.
Everything comes to an end. It takes it.
That's what they say.
It takes its course. I'll reference back to Derek Carr and the Raiders. He was there for 9 years. I believe it's ran its course. Things have changed. Tom Brady is no longer there. You've seen the show without Tom Brady. It's time.
Yes.
Bill Belichick has done his service. He's brought multiple championships to that franchise. I think it's time for the Patriots to get young.
Some would say more so Brady and the right foot of and the right foot of Vinatieri, but of course they're going to give the credit to that coach.
I won't argue that. I won't argue that statement. I will not argue that Brady and Vinatieri won. It's clearly shown right now. He's not a winning coach without.
Oh yeah,
Brady.
Correct.
So,
correct.
If it's going to happen, I would say just let him finish the year. Just let him finish the year out. Don't fire him in the middle of the season.
I wasn't implying that he was going to fire him in the middle of the season because why would you do that? And who would be that coach of a 1-5 team? You fire the hoodie in the middle of the season. I know.
Yeah.
I know Mr. Kraft probably wants Bill to stay on as long as he can get to Shula's record, which I got to figure out what that record is. For
I think he's one win away.
How far away he is from Shula.
Isn't he one win
really?
away?
Okay. Well, of course, as you know,
I could be wrong.
The late great Hall of Famer Don Shula has the most wins. I'm about to check. So, no, I'm about to check.
You're on it.
As we're going to go
you're on. Okay.
Football Reference. If you want to know about your stuff, Football Reference is a very good page to go to when you're trying to look up information on players, teams, past seasons, and whatnot. It's a great. Same thing with the Basketball Reference. Same thing with Baseball Reference. It's a very great tool to use if you want to look up your history, and of course, look up.
Because we don't know everything. We know some stuff, but we just don't know everything.
Yes. Nor do we act like we try to know that we know everything, but Yeah.
And by the way, while you're looking up this research, sir, I just want to say something real quick.
Go ahead.
I'm digging the Hulk Hogan cover for your microphone.
Well, this just came in the mail today. I've been trying to order them for the longest time, but they finally came in. But yeah, a little Hulkamania nostalgia here. So
yes,
here
indeed.
is, as it stands right now. So he is at 299 wins.
Mm-hmm.
So he's one away from 300. Now, of course, the record, I believe, is 347 by the late, great Shula.
Yeah, he's not seeing that. I'm sorry.
If I'm not mistaken, but I just want to make sure that I got that right. Where are you at?
So I had it backwards. He's one win away from 300, not one from Don Shula. So that was my mistake. Thank you for correcting that.
No. That's why we, do what we can.
Yes, indeed.
Come on, Shula, where are you? There we go. Oh, not the executive. What the head coach?
When technology doesn't follow orders.
There we go. Okay. All right. Now, can I get his overall record? Come on now, don't be that guy. And you're being that guy right now. See, technology. Anything can happen. Live TV, folks. We apologize.
Technology.
But I want to pretty much really want to say that, like I said, Don Shula, career-wise, 347 wins. That's the standard. Of course, he passed the Papa Bear George Hell's had the most wins up until then. In the regular season, he's 328. So if we're talking about regular season wise, Belichick would be 20. He's 29 wins away from doing that. But Shula,
he won't get it.
Career wise, won 65% or 66% of his games. Coach technically did say 67. His career record was 328, 156, and 6 in the regular season. Overall, 347, 143, and 6 ties. Yes, fans, you can actually tie in football. Doesn't matter what Donovan McNabb said. So just keep that in mind. That's still one of the reasons I didn't know the game couldn't end a tie. Really, Donovan? Really? How do you not know?
Pathetic.
But nevertheless, very intriguing games going on. Like I said, I personally wouldn't rush Debo back. I personally wouldn't rush back.
No.
McCaffrey, even though McCaffrey is officially questionable against the Vikings, you're playing in a dome.
I don't think you need
that
him.
is known as field turf. I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't risk it. So the commies are listening to offers for Montez Sweat and Chase Young, which I don't get because Washington or the Commanders, they are at 3-3. They just came off a big win a week ago. I know Ron Rivera is the ultimate gambler, which is why it's called Riverboat Ron. But I for the life of me, I can't fathom what's this meaning. What does it mean?
Could it be contractual? To somebody that could not want to be paying somebody here? We can check contractual.
That's a very interesting analogy. That very well possibly could be. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know, man. That's just that's
it's a head scratcher.
A tough one to understand,
without doubt.
But I know there's a lot of teams. Yeah, but I know there's a lot of teams that will take either of those two talented individuals right now. I'm just saying, if you could have one of those two possibly tag team with Max Crosby, I'm just saying.
Well, we still need somebody in the middle. We need somebody in the middle, though.
You can
definitely need somebody in the middle.
Dave Ziegler, listen to your fan base. Make that call.
We need somebody in the middle.
Make that call, if you will. But I mean, there's plenty of people possibly being talked about on the trade deadline.
Derrick Henry. That's a real head scratcher right there. Yeah, that's still a head scratcher.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. The Titans are on the bye week. I get it, but I just you can't find another Derrick Henry in the rough. You just can't. And if Derrick Henry goes to a contender, then you really have opened up some things. And opening up
where would they trade him?
Opening up a big, huge.
Ooh, what if they traded him to the Bills?
Well, oh boy. He's going to pay huge dividends when it starts snowing in Orchard Park. And Bill's Mafia is just going through the plunder of tables, going through it in the snow. Nonetheless, wearing those shirts. Bill's Mafia is one of the great fan bases. The things they do on game day makes you want to say Devon and go get the tables. It's ridiculous. But
factual statement.
I really don't know. I really don't know why Tom Brady said what he said on this podcast. Because Because I'm like, well, Tom, you benefited from every bad call known to man. But, you don't get called for anything.
They
But
made a rule after him, man.
Yes, they made a rule. Yes. They made a rule to where you can't go at the quarterback's knees anymore, which really stems from the
Can't
Olhoffen
sneeze on
Carson
him.
Palmer injury back in the 2005
Yes.
wild card. Well, again, we had talked about what he said on the Other Side of the Ball podcast, which you can catch Wednesdays on the Vegas Media Hype Network on YouTube. With myself, the Vikings, Sam McCorkle, and Derek Duncan, and Chris Vera. Chris is on the same that particular day, but I'm just like, well, you know what they're trying to do. And it's just, for me, it's like, hell, Brady, you won a game because you got sacked, and they call a 15-yard penalty off of a sack. Grady Jarrett of the Falcons did nothing wrong last season. Nothing wrong. Didn't slam him, didn't throw him. It was like a gentle wrapping of the tackling, and they call a 15-yard penalty, and the Buccaneers were able to run out the clock and win the game.
I don't understand it.
So, with that said, we will talk more. As I said, we will talk more about that particular subject on this upcoming Wednesday's edition of the Other Side, which, again, you can catch on the Vegas Media Hype Networks on YouTube and on Facebook, even though most of us share it anyway. But, yeah. Other Side of the Ball podcast with yours truly as the host, along with Vikings, Sam McCorkle, Chris Vera, and Sam Duncan. Anyhow, is there any other games that have caught your... Okay, before we go back to the NFL, there's really something that I really want to talk about. If you grew up in our age range that Mizzle and I have grown up in, for many of years, you knew two things. That some of the biggest boxing events were going to be on two channels. They were going to air on HBO, or they were going to air on Showtime. Unfortunately, Paramount has announced that 2023 will be the last year that Showtime Championship Boxing will be aired. And I think December the 9th is their last show of the 2023 year. The only reason why I have Showtime on my TV is to watch Showtime boxing. Okay? It's one thing you took away HBO boxing, you took away Jim Lampley, took away Larry Merchant, took away Kellerman, took away Andre Ward, of course the late great Emmanuel Stewart, Lennox Lewis, Bob Papa, back in the 80s, Barry Tompkins, and Larry Merchant. Of course, Larry Merchant being Larry Merchant. 2018 in December was the last time HBO aired a boxing event. December 9th will be now the last time that Showtime airs their championship boxing event. So I don't know if it's going to be another pay-per-view fight. I don't know. But it's just very, very sad because, like I said, for me personally, I grew up on Barry Tompkins. I grew up on Jim Lampley. When it comes to boxing play-by-play, those two guys are outstanding. But, it's like, where are they going to go? Of course, we know Jim Lampley teaches at North Carolina Chapel Hill because that's where he's from, North Carolina, so he's doing that stuff. He's a professor, but it's just sad to see that in 2024 you can no longer watch boxing on Showtime. So there'll be no Showtime, no HBO boxing, and it's just it sucks because, again, from our childhood to our teens to our early adulthoods, the fights were on Showtime or HBO. Didn't matter which network had it. It's, as a boxing fan, I'm just sad. I really am.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, don't remember when HBO after Boxing After Dark on HBO? Yeah, that was classic.
Boxing After Dark, yes. Showbox the New Generation,
Yes.
which Showbox started with first off, the late great Nick Charles from CNN, who was the first voice of Showbox, and of course Barry Tompkins, who is 83 and still doing it, hasn't lost a beat yet, and is still doing
Facts.
Showbox on Showtime with Steve Forhood and Raul Marquez. Um, which of course Barry in the 80s, the biggest fights that he did for HBO, he was the voice behind that with Larry Merchant, and this is when Larry Merchant was still young, but even back then, Larry Merchant was being very Larry Merchant, talking about, Jim, this fight should be a very good fight, simply because, yeah, while the whole world is waiting for him to do that, to finish his thoughts, almost like the Corey Hammond clock, which how long is Corey going to take to make his point? And of course, Corey Hammond does watch the show. If you're watching Corey, I love you, and hope you're well.
You sure do, man.
Anyhow, but it's just, it was part of our childhood. It was part of our teenage adolescence into adulthood. I can't count how many times Mizzle and I would be excited about, hey, we got boxing on HBO tonight, or hey, we got boxing on Showtime tonight. And now, don't get us wrong, we're very happy that ESPN has thrown itself back in the game to airing live boxing with Top Rank and with Bob Arum. We get it, I understand it. But Al Heyman, you have a decision to make. So now that PBC is going to be coming off of Showtime, where do we go with boxing? Does DAZN
Put it back on NBC.
DAZN automatically become the undisputed champion of airing boxing? You can do that, or hell, you can put it on CBS, or hell, you can put it
NBC
back on ABC
like it used to be. Oh, ABC, yeah, ABC, yeah, ABC,
or
Wild Water Sports.
Yeah, that or Fox. I don't know, because again, it's coming to the point now to where, of course, streaming is, in a sense, going to end up being paid like cable anyway. And then people are going to be like, well, damn streaming, because they're charging too much. That's eventually the next step. But it's I don't know if DAZN should get it. I don't know if it should go to national TV. But PBC has a decision to make. Al Heyman has a decision to make, because, as they say, too many sanctioning bodies, too many promoters, as it always is.
Exactly. Straight up.
But as we get back into the realm of the NFL, is there any matchups that catches your interest that's coming up later on today?
Nah, just the ones we touched on. No, that's
got it.
Yeah, just the ones. Pretty much the one. Definitely going to have to check in on that. The Eagles and the Dolphins and the Lions, that in the Ravens. That's going to be pretty entertaining.
Well, we do also have a first place battle in the NFC South between the Falcons and the Buccaneers, both of them at 3-2. That's going to be interesting to watch. And of course, for me, it's always, can the Buccaneers stop Bijan Robinson? That remains to be seen. Yeah, a lot of things going on in the world. Also, before I forget, congratulations and kudos and shout out to the Las Vegas Aces for going back-to-back and winning the WNBA for a second year. They fought off the Liberty in 4 tough games, getting the rebound. And this is with the Aces losing 3 of their starters, and they still get the job done. So kudos to Becky Hammon and the rest of the Las Vegas Aces for repeating as NBA or WNBA champions. And of course, my brother being my brother, saying, "Well, damn it, Mark, can you translate that to the Raiders, dadgummit?" And I don't disagree with that statement one bit. I don't.
It'd be nice. It would be nice. It would be nice
Yes, indeed.
to
So,
get that winning feeling.
my friend, do you have any final thoughts before we call it a moment so we can both go take our naps?
Uh it's not sports related, but if anybody out there has the PlayStation 5, I recommend going and getting the Spider-Man 2 game. I'm not gonna lie, the moment that I push the N on this stream, I'm gonna finish this level that I'm on, and then I'm going to bed. It picks up right after the last one. Yeah, I'm nerding out right now. I'm a big kid. I'm sorry, I can't help it. This is like say my weekend off, so I'm enjoying every bit of this video game I can before it's back to work.
Well, as he has been saying for years, he is 12 with the license. He's been saying that forever. For me,
Yes, indeed.
if I have any final thoughts, and here comes Hammer with the late comment at 3:02 in the morning. Well, Hammer,
Yes,
since
indeed.
you joined us, first off, welcome. But more importantly than that, Hammer, real quick, how do your Buccaneers get back on track at home against the Falcons in a huge game for first place in the NFC South? Again, if you are still on Hammer, let us know that thought about how your Buccaneers get back on track against the Falcons. So while he does that, like I said, Lions Ravens is a very intriguing game. So Fred Flintstone, Daniel Jones, he will not be playing. So Tyrod Taylor will get the start again for the Giants against the Commanders. And hopefully they will learn.
Plain and simple.
Hammer, it's that simple.
Straight to the point.
Keep Baker Mayfield off social media. Oh my goodness.
I don't
This is
disagree with
why
that
we love
statement.
having our viewers and that's why we love having our subscribers and viewers interact with us, because you never know what's gonna happen. Wow. That's funny right there. I don't care who you are.
Damn right.
That's great. That is great flipping television right there. Well, I mean, they obviously have to stop B. John Robinson and get the ball in the hands of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And yeah, I guess you do have to keep them off. But you can say that about any athlete, really. Okay. Ooh, well, that's an interesting nugget. Well.
Yep.
Wow.
That was
that's an
a
interesting. That's a very, very good analogy. Okay, so basically, do not let Baker get on Facebook and Twitter or TikTok, whatever it is. Got it. So defensively,
strictly football.
How do they try to contain the rookie that is Bijan Robinson from the University of Texas? How do the Buccaneers do that? If you can let us know real quick before we say so long for now. But
you have to stack the box.
Tampa should try to establish one with Rashad White. Get him going. Yeah. I mean, until Baker can, go play action all day, you might have to do that with certain quarterbacks. But like back in Cleveland days when he was everywhere and lost sight of football. Now he needs to pass more to 13, who's slipping his grip on the contract. Well, yes, we do know that Mike Evans is in a walk year, and that possibly has something to do with that also. You are not wrong on that, Mr. Hammer. Well, all right. Episode 119 is in the books. We certainly hope you guys enjoy Week 7 of the National Football League. Of course, culminating with the game tonight between the Niners and the Vikings, and the intriguing Sunday night game between the Dolphins and the Eagles, to where Mizzle and I decided, you know what, we're not picking this game. We're just going to be fans because the game is too good. However, I do like the fact that the Eagles are busting out with the old Randall Cunninghams on Sunday night. Yes. The old Kelly Green
like a classic
Eagle jerseys. Those are going to look very nice in the night light of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the site of WrestleMania 40 in 2024. So with that said, okay, defensively, he says quarterbacks are ass, but our front seven and top two are solid, and all the rest to do is ball, period. Well, normally in the past, the Buccaneers have had the Falcons. See if that continues at the big pirate ship. But episode 119 is in the book. So the Mizzle Dub Show, another late night edition. Now, we will be back on later on today to recap Week 7 of the NFL. Maybe preview the Monday night game. That's not to be sure or not. But later on today, we will recap Week 7 and what we saw, and we will see if Mizzle will keep his 6.5 game lead, or will Tequila try to run it away purposely. So with that said, he's Mizzle. I'm Dub. We appreciate the support. We appreciate all you subscribers and comments. And as always, it is 5 o'clock. Some damn where. You've been watching the Mizzle Dub Show here.